Well, good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael B. Ross, and I would like to welcome you to the HBK High Performance Podcast. I hope that the sun is shining and the birds are chirping in your life, and I hope all your dreams are coming true. Before we get started today, as I always like to mention, if you hear one good thought, one good phrase, one good quote, or one good idea from this podcast, I would like to ask you to put the thought, phrase, idea, or quote into absolute immediate action. It is the application of our education that makes the biggest difference in our world, and I don't want you to be one of those people that looks back on their life with significant regret. The number one regret of the dying is I did not live a life true to who I knew I should be. I instead lived my life based upon the expectations of others. I want to tell you the truth. Other people don't have very much planned for you. So if you do not design your life, if you do not have a vision for your life, if you don't know where you want to go as a leader, then your culture will create something that you do not want to be a part of. Many leaders, many organizational leaders don't like their own businesses. It's because they did not live their life by design. They instead lived and moved and breathed based on the expectations of others. So let's not do that today. Today, I did want to talk to you about culture. I want to talk to you about the culture, and great culture start with your philosophy. The philosopher Plato once said in the book The Republic, he said that philosopher kings rule the world. Now, what Plato was talking about was not some wise old sage who's sitting in a monastery somewhere playing with a long white beard and controlling the world through telekinetic powers. That's not what he was talking about. What Plato was talking about was philosophy itself rules the world, and it is king. Philosophy is the way you view the world. It's how you think, it's how you feel, it's how you react. Your philosophy leads those that you lead. Your philosophy has power. It can create freedom or bondage. It can create unity or segregation. It can create purpose or hopelessness. It can create inspiration or discouragement, achievement or underachievement, victory or defeat. And where you are in life, whether it's good or bad, and where your organization is, whether it's good or bad, is because of your philosophy. And just a few months ago, I was talking to two different business owners who are in the same industry as an example of this. And we've been going through this pandemic, and some people are losing their minds, and other people are looking at it as opportunity, and the difference of their philosophy has created the difference in results. Well, there's these two business owners who are living in the same area, in the Dallas, Texas area, okay? And the one business owner, we'll just, for sake of reference, call him Fred. Fred said he's going to be lucky to survive this pandemic and this time. He's lucky if he even gets through this time, and he's been trying to get all the help that he can get from the government, but largely he's just closed his doors and stayed at home. Hey, that's his prerogative if that's what he wants to do. But then there's another guy, his name is Paul, who lives in the worst part, the not so nice part of Dallas, who has the same business. These are franchises, same business. But Paul, his philosophy is, this is the greatest time in human history to grow my business. Because he knows that there's people out there like Fred who are just sitting at home and not doing anything. So he said, you know what? I'm going to take this time while it's metaphorically raining, and I'm going to go mine the opportunity. And so his philosophy is, let's use this time. His belief is this is the greatest time in human history. Fred says he's lucky to survive. Well, this year for Fred has been less than average, as you can imagine. And for Paul, he's broken every record to date. We're not even at the end of the year yet. He's broken every record he's ever had in his business, and he's been doing what he's doing right now for 7 years. And he's broken every record that he has ever had in a year where people say that you cannot do well and that no one is buying. Well, you choose your philosophy, and your philosophy then informs your actions. Here's something you've got to know about your philosophy, okay? Whatever we believe in life, doesn't matter what it is, whatever you believe, you follow through with action. This is why, as individuals who struggle with certain things, certain habits, certain patterns of behavior, we shouldn't look at modifying our behavior. That's not what we should do. If you want to change your behavior, don't look at modifying your behavior. What you need to do is look at your beliefs. What do you believe about yourself that is not true? A person who struggles with alcoholism, for example, it's a very simple example. I hear this said all the time in the 12 Steps program. And I think it's absolutely, utterly, and fantastically ridiculous, okay? Is that I am an alcoholic. What is the definition of being an alcoholic? It is somebody who is addicted to alcohol and cannot stop. And you've got somebody, I know somebody specifically, who has not taken a drink of alcohol for 15 years. For 15 years, and she still has been saying, I am an alcoholic. And you know, one day, I finally called her out on it. And I said, no, you are not an alcoholic. It is not true. If you believe you are something, the tendency to go back to that behavior goes up exponentially. Why? Because we act based on what we believe we are. Period. Whatever you believe about the world, you will follow through with action. If you believe that you are a business owner with ridiculous opportunity and you're a great leader and you're someone who can put people in position to succeed, you will follow through with action. If you truly believe it. I'm not talking about lying to yourself or faking yourself. I'm saying you truly believe it. That you believe you were meant for something more. You will follow through with more. If you truly believe, and your philosophy is that you should give the greatest customer service in the world, you will follow through with great customer service. If you believe that the world is here to serve you, and that everybody should be graced by your presence, and that you're the greatest, best thing since sliced bread, you will follow through with those actions and be arrogant, self-centered, and more than likely you'll be a miser. Whatever you believe about yourself, you will follow through with action. And so whenever you have a pattern of behavior that you don't approve of in yourself, because there's things that we do as human beings, as individuals, we look and we go, my gosh, why am I doing this right now? I don't understand why I'm doing this. There's something that is off in your belief system. And remember this, that 95% of our lives are lived with subconscious streaming patterns. We are creatures of habit. So your beliefs inform your actions inform your habits, it creates your character, and your character determines your destiny and your legacy. So don't look at your habits and go, I gotta change this habit. And go for the lie of 21 days. If I go for 21 days and I change this habit, it'll create a new habit. No, that is not fundamentally true. Change behavior, and this is not good news. A lot of people, they hate when I say this, but it is true. Change behavior truly sticks at a minimum of 6 months. The premium time for change behavior to stick is actually 2 years. And the reason is because if you are going to change a behavior long term, you have got to systematically change your belief. Changing beliefs is not easy because many of them are buried into our subconscious streaming patterns. And so you have to dig deep. You have to take a journey to the interior and find out what's going on. Why do I tell you all this about individuals? The same is true for cultures. A culture group is built upon a philosophy, a belief system. And a lot of those belief systems that form our behaviors and our actions as an organization, oftentimes we are unaware of. And we do it over and over and over again. And a lot of people tell you this, and I hate this from motivational speakers. I think this is one of the worst pieces of advice you could get. You'll hear motivational speakers say all the time, get out there and grind. Get out there and grind. Just work harder. If you outwork everybody, then you're going to be successful. If you, let me tell you the truth. If you are working very hard at the wrong things, they will create the wrong results. And if you expect the right results from wrong behavior, you are going to be sorely disappointed. And it doesn't matter how hard you work at the wrong things, they will create wrong results. So what I would like to tell all of you as leaders is to take a step back and look at your belief systems and your philosophies before you start grinding. Now, once you figure out your belief systems, you can then start to create patterns of behavior. And then you can accelerate the process of taking activity up in that said belief or that said behavior to create habits faster so that you can create better results faster. But please, always, always, always evaluate and look at your philosophy. You know, the first thing I always recommend that leaders do when they want to build a great culture, that is the answer to having a great business, is a culture, building a great culture. Because a culture is the systemic portion of your philosophy in action. And your culture is formed based upon your philosophy. Your culture is ultimately your group patterns of behavior. Okay? For example, in the United States of America, our culture is built upon the values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The vision of America is the American dream, meaning any individual from anywhere in the world can come and take advantage of our free market enterprise system and be able to buy, trade, and sell goods in the marketplace for a very nominal tax back to our government so that we can provide transportation and we can provide protection. But you can come here in America, and the American dream is based upon the dream of individuals. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. That is the fabric. That is the culture. But it's based upon values and a belief system and a philosophy that the power is better in the hands of the people versus the hands of the government. It's beautiful. And so your culture is built upon a belief system. But most organizations, they don't even know what the belief system is. So the first thing I always recommend, to get back to that point, the first thing I always recommend to business owners and leaders, evaluate your culture. Always. Always evaluate. Always evaluate. Take a look at your vision. What is it that you want for your company? Evaluate that. Is it clear? Has it been communicated to the team? Does everyone know it? Can everyone in your organization share the vision? Do they also know what is required of them to be able to reach this vision? Do they know that? Do they know how they contribute? Are the leaders in your organization people you would follow? I mean, it's a very simple question. Do they share your DNA? Do they share your personal philosophies? Do they or do they not? Are your values, the things that you won't compromise, are those very clear? Or are you compromising? You know, the number one problem in every culture that I have found to be true when there's a bad culture, it's not that you don't have a mission, vision, values, or a cause or identity. It's that the standards are not upheld. You know, when nations fall, you know what happens? And we're seeing this a little bit in America. I want to see that change. I do. Is that we stop upholding the standards of which got us to where we're at. And affluence can kill businesses and nations. And for a culture to sustain or even to grow, you don't just keep standards the same, you increase them. Why? To find out what you can become. To find out as a people group what you can become. To find out as an individual how far you can go. We spend too much time in our culture, and I'm on a soapbox right now, so please forgive me. But we're too much in our culture about why should I? Why should I push myself? Why should I do better? What's in it for me? I want to take the reverse order of that. I want to challenge you to ask not why, but why not? Why shouldn't I? You've got this one and only life. You've got this short period of time. You got 75 years on average in this life. And why wouldn't you give it your best? Why wouldn't you go after everything you can? I was talking to an older gentleman the other day about this. And he says, I always wanted to learn how to play guitar. I said, dude, pick up the guitar. Start practicing 15 minutes a day. YouTube makes it so easy for anybody to learn any instrument you want. You can get on, you can get lessons, practice. Well, I don't know. Just do it. I promise you this. I'm sorry I'm on a soapbox right now. But listen to me. I want to promise you something. You will never, ever, ever in your life regret doing. You may screw it up. You may fail. Fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You will always regret not trying though. You will always regret not doing. If you want to learn how to play piano, you want to learn how to play guitar, you want to learn how to play the cello, you want to learn how to speak another language, which I started doing with my kids, by the way. We started learning how to speak Spanish together. Pretty cool. You won't regret trying. You won't regret doing. You won't regret exploring. You will regret not exploring. You will regret not trying. So if you're out there right now, if you're a leader out there and you're thinking to yourself, I want to have this great culture. And maybe you're a leader out there right now and you hate your business. Listen, I have created some cultures myself in the past that I really didn't like what I was a part of, and it was my own company. I didn't do a good job creating a great culture. Didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know how to do it. And that's just me being perfectly honest, which is why I got on the journey that I'm on right now, okay? If you're out there and you want to figure out how to create a great culture, the first thing you got to do is you have to say you don't like where it is and I'm going to do something about it. But I'm going to tell you, if you're there, take some time after this podcast. I want you to go somewhere, be by yourself, grab a journal. If you want a journal, email me, I can get you a journal. We have these journals available, they're wonderful. But you need to get by yourself and do some hardcore evaluation. I have some evaluation tools I can also send you. My email is mross@hbkln.com. And you can send me an email and I'll send you some culture evaluation tools. I'll send you some leadership evaluation tools. I'll send you some talent evaluation tools that you can look at and evaluate your team, evaluate the leaders in your organization, evaluate your own culture, and then you can determine, is your philosophy, is your belief system, is the habits and the patterns of behavior, are they taking you where you want to go? It's so simple, but not easy. I want to be here to help you. I hope this was beneficial to you today, and I really hope that you join me next time for the HBK High Performance Podcast.